If I was on time, I would not be on brand. It's 8:03. I'm 3 minutes late, which, to some people that is on time. To me, lately, that's on time. I used to really ascribe to the whole, if you're 5 minutes early, you're on time, late is on time kind of thing, but it's all bullshit, and time is irrelevant, and it's relative, and none of it matters, so just show up to things when you feel like it. And that's where I've landed on that. Hi. Hello. Welcome to another episode of, for some reason, I'm making an oracle deck based on Shakespeare. It's probably been done before, but I'm going to do it anyway. I think that's the secret to, like, all creative endeavors, is that it has been done before, but I haven't done it before, so this is my Shakespeare oracle deck. It's different than anyone else's Shakespeare oracle deck because I'm doing it, and I have far fewer artistic skills than most people who create oracle decks. So that's what makes me unique. This is a momentous occasion in my oracle deck life cycle, because it is the 11th, 8, 9, 10, 11th week in a row. I've passed the 10-week mark. I read somewhere that, like, most podcasts and live streams and videos and this kind of thing don't make it past the 7th episode or the 7th video or the 7th podcast or whatever. I've exceeded number 7. I've gone all the way to number 10. And now, if I'm going to stop at any, like, decent place, I have to do another 10 more. I can't stop at 15. I gotta stop at 20. So I've now reached that kind of, I feel like, point of no return. I am almost a third of the way through Shakespeare's canon. And what an interesting place to be, as far as Shakespeare's canon goes, to talk about Midsummer tonight. Probably the most overdone and underdone play of Shakespeare's, I think, Midsummer. Because everyone does it. In fact, in Raleigh, just off the top of my head, in the Research Triangle area, and the outlying areas, let's see, I think Fayetteville did it twice in 2 years. 2 different companies nearby, like in Raleigh and the surrounding areas, did at least 1, maybe 2 versions of it. So that's 4. Next year, there's going to be 2 versions going almost concurrently at 2 different companies. It is, I think people think Midsummer and they think of this play that's, like, really easy to do, easy to produce, not, there's not a lot of thinking involved on the audience's behalf. So I think that it gets done a lot, but also it gets done in, like, I'm hesitant to say boring ways, because it won't be boring as long as it's being done. If it's being done, like, I'm having fun. But I also have seen it so many times, and I've done, I played as Titania once. I played as Lysander twice. So I've done it 3 times. I also did scene studies at Bada, where I couldn't even tell you. I can't even remember who I played in those scene studies. But like, I have studied this play extensively. I've performed in this play probably too many times at this point, to be honest. But, you know, I still am not sure I've ever seen it done right. You know, I've never, like, in my head when I read it, there's a whole element that's always missing when I see it on stage. But at the same time, I don't think that I could accurately or adequately direct it in a way that like brings my vision to life. And I think that is the beauty of Midsummer, that it's so fantastical, that like we as Western English speaking have studied English literature and the history of the language. Like, if that's our background, we have this understanding of like fantasy, I guess, and fairy tales. And this play really, really uses what we think of in those instances. That even if I could put my vision out there for the audience to see, it still wouldn't be right to other people's visions, because they've also been taught these different things. So I think that makes the show appeal so broadly, is that we like all of us have that understanding of what is a fairy, what is a puck, what is a trickster, what is unrequited love. We have all these understandings, but at the same time, that those understandings and those images are all different, I guess, for each of us. That even though I've never seen it done perfectly the way I think of it in my head, and I never will, even if I direct it, we all go and see the play, you know, hoping that it's going to be like, oh, fairies, I love fairies. I love all these tropes. And I don't think this play is going anywhere anytime soon. In fact, it has been, even though I've done it too many times. Hello, doll. Thanks for coming and listening to me ramble. Even though it's done like so many times, I think it'll keep being done because of the just ubiquitousness of the subject, because nobody's gonna capture it perfectly, so we'll all just keep trying to get it right, you know. All that said, hi, that was a long preamble. Welcome to me drawing my oracle card. I don't even speak oracle card. Enunciate, you stupid bitch. Like and follow. I do have an Instagram now, at Low Hanging Shakespeare. I'm on Instagram as that. I need to update my little image here. I have my personal Instagram, which I'll always cross post, my personal and my Low Hanging Shakespeare bullcrap. But I need to update that. It's at Low Hanging Shakespeare. That's my Instagram handle. I also have I have a Facebook page now for Low Hanging Shakespeare. That's both very exciting. Urkerkurt. That's exactly what I feel like I'm saying. Urkerkurt. 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 I sound like a dolphin. Right. Also, in addition to following on YouTube, on Instagram, on whatever, check out Patreon and support me. Help me, I'm poor. Support me on Patreon. Cue the Sarah McLachlan song, please. Thank you. For $1 a day, for just $1 a day, you can support artists in your neighborhood. Or you could support me instead. I'm probably not in your neighborhood, but you could, for $1 a day, support me on Patreon. Midsummer. You know, I didn't read this play because I've done it so many times, and I feel like this was a mistake. I should have done something a little more involved, because I was like, ever since I saw it last week, I was like, oh hell yeah, I'm doing Midsummer next week. I don't actually have to do very much because I've read the play countless times. I've performed, yes, in the arms of the angels. I'm gonna get shut down if I sing anymore. I've done it countless of times. I've performed in it at least 3 times, like 3.5, 4 times. I thought, like, well, I don't actually need to reread it at all. So I kind of have done no preparation. And I think that was a bad idea, because now I'm sitting here going, like, the hell am I going to draw tonight? Yes, I think having a huge understanding of the play also is kind of detrimental. Like, in these other plays where I have kind of more of a vague understanding of it, I've been able to just kind of pick out a specific thing and kind of riff on it and kind of go from there, because there's usually like one thing that really, or 2 things, maybe 3 things that really stand out to me as something that I could draw for this oracle card. In the case of Midsummer, where I know the whole play, every character practically, pretty intimately, I'm overwhelmed with choice. And I'm just kind of like, there's nothing left in this play. I've read it so many times. I'm so familiar with it. There's nothing left in this play that really shocks me or really gets my juices flowing, so to speak. So I went on a 2-mile walk today and kind of just thought really briefly about it. And 2 things kind of stood out to me as something that might be interesting to draw. And I think the first one is pretty obvious what I'm going to say. If you know the play at all, you probably are familiar with Puck, this character who, well, he's a dick, and he lives to make trouble. He's a trickster, and the whole play, he's like messing things up. Oberon tells him to go do one thing, and he goes and does something kind of adjacent to the thing that Oberon told him to do. And then is like, oh my god, my bad. So, this character through the whole thing is like, just kind of messing up, making mistakes, and screwing up the whole plot of the play. But without this character, the play wouldn't exist, really. The speech that I'm thinking of, again, if you are familiar with this play, you've heard it before. You probably know where I'm going. It is the iconic Puck monologue. People want to play this character of Puck just so that they can have this epilogue speech at the end, which goes like this. If we shadows have offended, think but this, and all is mended, that you have but slumbered here while these visions did appear, and this weak and idle theme no more yielding than a dream. Gentles, do not reprehend, if you pardon, we will mend. And, as I am an honest Puck, if we have unearned luck now to scape the serpent's tongue, we will make amends ere long, else the Puck a liar call. So good night unto you all. Give me your hands if we be friends, and Robin shall restore amends. Essentially, we've just put on this play for you, and if you don't like it, just forget about it. It was a dream. No big deal. You were asleep. It's fine. If you didn't like it, it's fine. Just pretend you weren't here. Just pretend you were sleeping. That's the iconic Puck monologue. So I had that thought, and then I also had, let me search for it. Wait for it. There's a speech by Titania, and it is very long. Dr. Wilson and Dead Poets. I haven't actually seen Dead Poets Society, but are you talking about Dr. Wilson? Who's Dr. Wilson? I feel like I'm mixing TV shows. I'm thinking of Dr. Wilson, and I'm thinking of House. Didn't House MD have a character called Dr. Wilson? Oh, it's the same actor. Is it the same actor? Robert Sean Leonard? It's the same actor, isn't it? Oh my god. Oh my god. I've made a connection that I didn't even know I could make. Because I've never seen the movie Dead Poets Society. But I just Googled it. It's the same actor. Nice. Cha-ching. He was the best in House. He was like the reason to watch House. Him and like the dorky Australian guy. Everyone else could like suck it. But those two guys were fun. I think I made it through like 3 seasons of House. And then continued no more. Okay. I think okay. The other thing that if I want to cry, I always want to cry. I like, no bullshit, love crying. I love crying, especially when it has to do with film or TV or theater. Because, and then, like, everything will make me cry, also. Every single thing. If it was, like, it doesn't even have to be good. It doesn't even have to be meaningful. I could just, like, watch something and be like, somebody wrote this? And then people believed in it? Those people who believed in it, like, went out and, like, cast it and, like, made the, like, they got a director and, like, all this stuff happened just because somebody wrote it. Somebody wrote this and it became real. And it could be like Kung Fu Panda, you know? And I'll just weep because somebody wrote it. And then other people were like, this is good. Let's make this into a movie. I need some friends. So if you'd like to be friends with me, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to watch Dead Poets Society and just cry by myself. Anyway, this other speech that I was thinking of has to do with Titania and Oberon, who are the king and queen of the fairies, and they have been in this fight for some time. So long that the world around them has like started to like started to be messed up around them. Anyway, it's a long speech. Bear with me. I haven't read this in years. It's gonna be rough because I'm like dry reading. What do you call it? Cold reading. And I haven't looked at this in years, so bear with me. But here we go. These are the forgeries of jealousy, and never, since the middle summer's spring, met we on hill, in dale, forest or mead, by paved fountain or by rushy brook, or in the beach and margent of the sea, to dance our ringlets to the whistling wind. But with thy brawls thou hast disturbed our sport. Therefore, the winds, piping to us in vain, as in revenge, have sucked up from the sea contagious fogs, which, falling in the land, have every pelting river made so proud that they have o'erborne their continents. The ox hath therefore stretched his yoke in vain, the ploughman lost his sweat, and the green corn hath rotted ere his youth attained a beard. The fold stands empty in the drowned field. The crows are fatted with the murrian flock. The 9 men's morris is filled up with mud, and the quaint mazes in the wanton green, for lack of tread, are undistinguishable. The human mortals want their winter here. No night is now with him or coral blessed. Coral. Dyslexia. No night is with him or carol blessed. Therefore the moon, the governess of floods, pale in her anger, washes all the air that rheumatic diseases do abound. And through his distemperature we see the seasons alter. Hoary-headed frosts far in the fresh lap of the crimson rose, and on the Heim's thin and icy crown an odorous chaplet of sweet summer buds is, as in mockery, set. The spring, the summer, the chilling autumn, angry winter, change their wonted liveries. And the mazed world, by their increase, now knows not which is which. And this same progeny of evils comes from our debate, from our dissension. We are their parents and original. All this to say, we've been fighting and the whole world around us has changed. And that made me think, like, if I was, if I was a human, which I'm not a human, if I had made a mistake that, like, really altered things, not just for me, but for other people, like, would I realize that I was the reason why things had changed? And so that's why this speech sticks out to me. Like, our lives are messed up. And therefore, and because of our anger and dissatisfaction with each other, the lives of other people are messed up. So it's on us to fix the fact that, like, there's flooding, you know, there's the fold stands empty in the drowned field, like it's flooded, the crows are fatted, like the animals have died, so the crows are eating the corpses, like humans aren't singing songs in the winter anymore because just everything is shit. The ox have stretched his yoke in vain. There's no crops, there's nothing for anyone to eat, and it's all because of what we're doing. And was Shakespeare an environmentalist wacko? Probably. I think it's really interesting that even in the 1600s, like, we were still having the same confusion and the same kind of arguments, like, what can we do? Like, we're the problem here, or we're causing some of the issue here. How do we rectify our own the problems that we make for ourselves? So I think I'm gonna go with this one, but I don't know how to draw this or what to draw necessarily. I think our color is purple. Definitely our color is purple. But what are we actually drawing? I think I would love to show in this card that the person is directly related to the consequence. Like, you reap what you sow, basically. If you're discordant with the world around you, then the world around you is going to be discordant with you. If you are nature and you're fighting with another aspect of yourself, then nature is going to be messed up for the people. And then the people aren't going to sing to you anymore. So basically, be a good steward and reap what you sow, I think, are the themes that I would like to express in this particular card. How to get there is the question. I was thinking about birds, actually, Britt. I was thinking about that line about the crows that are fatted. But then I'm also thinking, like, I'm not a good artist, so how do I draw a crow? So, like, technicalities, right? But I do love the idea of showing a crow. Let me just like pull up an image of a crow and see if it's something that I could feasibly draw. I mean, it is if I just go like, merp, 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 merp. There's my crow. Look at it. It's so cute. Ooh. I like the idea of a feather. I had a thought just now of like a feather. Just a really generic feather. But it's not just a feather. It could be writing, like penning its own story, kind of telling a tale, kind of giving a word of warning. I really want to shoehorn in this feather drawing idea because I really like it, but I'm not sure if it actually works. I mean, we could be talking about communication here. So if it is writing a letter, then the communication thing does track. So you know, can I just really quickly before I continue? Oberon's response to Titania being like, this is all our fault. We should do something about this. His response is, well, then you fix it. If you understand what it's about, we could change this. All you have to do is give me your child. Oberon is like a gaslighting mofo. Like, sorry, not sorry, Oberon. I'm pointing out that this is a problem, and you're telling me that I am the one to fix it. Like, this is my kid. You're asking me for my kid. I'm not the problem here. He's mine. You're the problem here. So maybe there's something there. Like, what if it says no? That's 2 on the nose, right? It's 2 on the nose. I do really like a feather, though. I really, really like the idea of a feather. But maybe it doesn't work. Maybe it's something I have to do for something else. Or maybe it's maybe it's a more symbolic. It's one of the more symbolic drawings. Like the Romeo and Juliet one that I did was just a rose with like some scribbles. Maybe this is a similar kind of idea. I need a feather pen, please. So I really, really, really like the feather pen idea. But need it to be, I don't know, a little metaphorical, perhaps. Okay, that is a really ugly feather, and I'm not about it. Okay. Whatever I draw, it'll be awesome. Thank you. Thanks. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Here's my feather pen. And I think it would be really fun to have just a splotch. Just a puddle. Like the overflowing banks of the seas, you know, that overflow when you and your pal are fighting. When you have the unintended consequences. So, okay, hear me out. It's a stretch, but hear me out. Okay, you are trying to write a letter. You're like, dip, and you put your pen to your paper, and it just all comes out in a... It's an unintended consequence of using an archaic pen that nobody uses anymore. Getting drunk and sending an email to your boss, accidentally quitting your job. That is an unintended consequence of making a choice. So maybe we're showing here the unintended consequences of a choice that is made. And that choice, or that unintended consequence, is demonstrated by just a puddle of ink. I'm gonna go with it. And I'm probably gonna get this as a tattoo. I'm really liking the idea of the thumbnail right now. All right. If anyone wants to get tattoos with me, let me know. Find me an artist. Let's go immediately. I am itching for a new tattoo. Okay. Feather. Yeah, money is the worst. You know, when I was growing up, like, I don't know, middle school and high school, I was always drawing just like weird kind of like logo-y shit. And people would always ask me, like, are you going to be a tattoo artist when you grow up? And I was always like, no, of course not. No, that shit is permanent. Like, if I draw on paper, I can throw the paper away. I can't throw the human away. But now I'm in my 30s. And I'm like, but what if I was a tattoo artist? Like, what if people liked my art so much that they would pay for the mistakes? What if that was a thing? And so and now that I've made a choice professionally about whether or not I'm going to remain in corporate America. For now, anyway. I may go back. I don't know. But I've made a choice about how I'm going to live a more creative life. And now I'm thinking like, well, shit. Like, I need to still make money in my creative life. Should I go and be an apprentice tattooer? Is it something I should try? Everyone always said when I was a kid that I would be really good at it. Should I have listened to them? Should I have done that initially? I don't know. Anyway. So yeah, so that's a thought that I've been having lately. I don't know if anyone else has thoughts like, should I go and try to apprentice for this job? Yeah, I mean, I don't think it could hurt. I feel like it could be a massive waste of time if I end up deciding that I don't like it, or if I end up not being very good at it. But I really do think that I might not be terrible at it. But I have no idea what the actual, like, process would be to getting an apprenticeship as a tattoo artist. So naturally, that means I will never try. Because I'm a monster. An absolute piece of shit. All right, there we go. We got some kind of feather. If there was only a way to tell that it was a crow feather, because I'm gonna make it black, but that's I feel like that's not gonna help because all of my art in this thing is black and white. I'm gonna see if there's any significant differences between crow feathers, and I don't think there are other feathers. Yeah, I thought about that too, doing clerical work, and just being like, hey, yeah, I'm totally interested in learning how to do this. And look at my portfolio of art. Actually, and I have a lot of friends that are tattoo artists, because how do you end up like this and not have friends that are tattoo artists? So I do have a lot of friends that I could ask and like use their connections. I should probably just do that. I should probably just ask them. 34. And one thing that I have learned in life so far is that, like, you can want in one hand and shit in the other, and they'll both weigh the same. But if you don't ask somebody, if you don't make the connection, it's not going to happen. You can want all day long. You can want your whole life. And wanting gets you nowhere. It's not until you take action on that want that anything useful happens. So, I'm just going to ask some people. I don't know anybody out here in like where I live in Durham, North Carolina. I don't know anybody out here. But I wonder if any of my friends back home in Knoxville, if they have connections out here that they could point me in the right direction. But I'm going to ask. I'll ask. What's the worst that happens? As I spend another 3 years in a job that sucks. That's been my whole life. 3 years at a time on jobs that suck. Just kidding. A lot of my jobs have been really good. They just haven't been for me. They've been really good for someone else. But I'm unfortunately a creative person. And these jobs that I've had in 3-year intervals have been like army, teaching, shuffling other people's creative work around. It's not been good for me. Okay, so I'm looking at crow feathers. I'm trying to see if there's anything particularly interesting. I see that we could go a little fatter, but I feel like probably all feathers have this kind of pattern to them. So I'm gonna duplicate the layer, and I'm going to erase the top here and make it like a rounder top. I don't think there's any difference there, like realistically, between that one and this one. But I think the round is more fun. I'm going to say the round top is more fun. So I'm going to stick with the round top. And then the ink blot at the nib. I'm going to make it pretty big, actually. Because we're talking like overflowing, like rivers overflowing their river basins. So I want a huge ass puddle. And I'll do some like drippage off of that huge ass puddle. And all of that I am going to move slightly downward. Like so. Right. So here is our very, very basic sketch. I'm going to try really hard to keep the feathers, like, to keep them looking as though they are supposed to be black. I feel like that's going to be tough. We'll see. What I'm going to try is I'm gonna try to not have an outline. Oh god, this is gonna be miserable, and I'm so sorry. It's already almost 9. We're gonna be here for like 6 more hours doing this. I'm gonna try to not have any outlines. So I've turned down my opacity on the outline layer, and on the layer on top, I'm gonna do like just lines. Lines out from the center. I think I could do like back and forth. I think that would be fine because I can erase down the middle. So if I do like this way, it looks so messy. I might change my mind here. But if I do just lines like this, and then I erase down the middle, and I erase on the outside, is it gonna look like a feather? It might. Let's find out. Let's just do it. Let's just do it and find out. And if it sucks, I'll do something else or not, and I'll just leave it as it is. Because nothing matters and everything is in the eye of the beholder. And even if I hate it, someone else out there will love it. Someone else will look at it and go, this is the epitome of fucking art. And I'll look at it and I'll go, that's a piece of shit. But they'll go, I want it. And I'll go, you're high. But yeah, you can buy it. I'll take your money. So yeah, let's try this. You know what? Let's just try this. So I'm gonna do like big scribbles here, like so. I'm gonna do some more big scribbles. We're gonna have to use a couple layers if I'm gonna do it the way I think that it could be fun to do it. I'm gonna have to do it in more than one layer, which, you know, could go against, you know, whatever you say is good art policy. Whatever, I don't care what you say is good art. What's good art is whatever I feel like is good. And whatever you feel like is good. And sometimes those things aren't the same thing, and that's fine. So here we go. I'm gonna do one half, like one side at a time. And just totally like, look at this. Okay? It looks like an eyebrow. But let's erase. Starting with the stem. What do you call that? Let me Google parts of a feather really quick because I'm obsessed with birds. And I don't know what that middle piece of a feather is called. What is it called? What are the 6 parts of a feather? Anatomy. Parts of a feather. Outside my window. So the vane is the whole thing. It's the shaft in the middle. The after feather, that's the fluffy bits down at the bottom. Those are fluffy bits. Those are after feather. Rachis. What is rachis or rachis? I speak English. Rachis is the long central part of the feather that holds the veins, like a mast that holds the sail. So the rachis. So I'm erasing along the rachis right now. We've all learned something together about feathers. This is the rachis, or the shaft, that I'm erasing right now. So I'm gonna use that in speech tomorrow at some point. the rachis. It still looks like an eyebrow. In fact, it looks more like an eyebrow now. I'm gonna ensmallin this brush, and I'm gonna bring this opacity up a little bit so that I can see where I put the initial like notches in the feather, because I think the notches are going to help like show that it is a feather. So I just want to see where the notches were placed initially, and I'm going to put my notches back in. Rachis. It's the rachis. What language is that? Rachis. Rachis, rachis. Where'd you get those rays? All right. Okay, a little less like an eyebrow, still like an eyebrow. Let's see if we can pop the other side in and make it look a little more like a feather than an eyebrow. Probably is Latin. You're so right. Rachis. I'll have to etymon-line it and see what etymon-line says about it. But yeah, these like scientific words are usually pretty Latin in origin. All right. There's my second eyebrow. Let's see if we can make it look less like an eyebrow. And let's erase the opposite side as well. Let's go big around the top. Around the edges, we'll go big eraser around the edges. No big deal. There we go. But now for the details inside, we will make the eraser much smaller, and we will erase inside the little notches that we created earlier. And there's some notches, there's a notch, there's some notches there. And we'll make some, what do you call these? After feather. Do some good after feather down here. Make it nice and light. I'm gonna erase that side too. Right. There we go. There's two sides of a feather. We'll erase that. I think that looks good actually. That could be worse, yeah. What I would love to do, however, is make it a little darker in the middle. So I'm going to turn this back on. I'm going to use the shading graphite in the middle. Just make it darker on each side of the shaft so that it kind of fades out into the like edges of the feather. So There we go. That's a bit much, eh? I'm gonna erase. I'm gonna like kind of, actually, you know what would be smart? What would be smart? Not that. Not the gradient map. That is not what would be smart. Undoing that would be smart. Blurring would be smart. Look at that. Fucking magic. Gonna duplicate and I'm gonna erase down the middle. But I'm gonna go quite slowly because I don't want to fuck up. So. Like that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to fuck up. And I'm gonna hide that layer. But look at this. My barbs are in the wrong place. So I'm gonna go back over my barbs real quick. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm actually gonna merge those two layers down. So now I can go through and like erase the barbs on each side rather easily, rather than having to go back and forth between a couple layers. So I've made them into one layer. And there we go. There we go. There's our feather so far. What is missing, I think, I want to have more like fluffy feather at the bottom. So I'm going to create a new layer and I'm just going to play around really quick and see if it sucks. If it sucks, you know, I'll do something else. But, you know, like what if it doesn't suck? What if it's better than I thought it would be? I'm just going to do some like intense scribbling at the bottom here. Look at this. Fucking scribbles. Intense. Fucking scribbling. Fucking scribbles, man. I love fucking scribbles. Yeah, scribbling. Oh, I love scribbling, man. Scribbling is my shit. Needs more scribbles, to be honest. And it needs more scribbles over here, too. Okay, like somebody, like, just admit me to the mental institution at this point. Okay. Eraser. The erasing is the hard part here. Because, like, I see what I've done with my scribbles. I see what I've done. But the erasing is a little difficult. A little more difficult than I had anticipated. But look at that. We're doing good. We're doing good, y'all. I need to just like kind of do an outline of the scribbling. Like so. Yeah. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. A little bigger. A little bit bigger. Do a little bit bigger eraser. Try to get the after feather to just be a little bit more, but a little bit softer too. I've watched too many Lucky Charms ads. I'm not sure that works, actually. All of that may have been for naught. I'm going to delete it. It almost looks better without it. But what if I... No, I think it looks better without it. All that scribbling for nothing but emotional feeling betterness. Catharsis. Maybe? I don't know. But I like it better without. Anyway. Beneath the barbs of the feather, I would like to add like the sides of the shaft. And it is almost St. Paddy's Day. I feel like that's one of the reasons why I went into the accent. Who knows why I went into any accent ever. Do you remember when I was at Jordan Con last year? I did this accent for like, I don't know, 17 hours. People thought that I was not from the United States. People like guessed New Zealand. People guessed Perth, Australia. People guessed all kinds of places where I was from. But I'm not from any of those places. I was just bored and drunk. Who even knows why I do any accents that I do? And who even knows, like, in the communities that I do these accents, whether they're good or not? Like, very few people. And the people who know that they're not good, I also know that they're not good. So, like, I can get away with doing them poorly. Anyway, I want to do it's very New Zealand. But nobody knows what a Kiwi accent is. Nobody knows that. Except for, like, probably 4 people that I communicate to regularly. Everyone else would be like, all right, Governor. It's almost the 5th of November, eh? Anyway, I'm adding some dimension to the shaft. I'm putting it beneath the barbs of the feather, and I'm just going to kind of color in. Yeah, there's really few people, and like I feel like I'm a bit of a nerd, which is really funny, like, for being a hard of hearing person. But I hear accents very easily and can, like, pick up on them very well. Like, I don't understand what you're saying to me, but I know what accent you're doing. It's weird. It's really weird. And, oh God, don't hold back your shaft comments. Don't hold them back. Leave your shafts in the chat. But I know accents very well, and like if I hear someone speaking, I can be like, that's South African, that's New Zealand, that's German, English, Welsh, Canadian, Vancouver. You know, like I can always usually tell. Like, okay, John, my spouse and I had been watching Outlander for a while, and as we were watching it, I would play this game with myself. You know, John's not really interested in playing with me because I'm always right, and it's just not very fun when I'm always right. Um, but the game was like actual Scottish person or Irish person or random Joe putting on a Scottish accent. And I get it right every time. Like, I can always tell when it's a real Scottish person doing a Scottish accent on Outlander. I can always tell when it's an Irish person pretending to be Scottish for a role. And I don't know how I can do that. Genetic memory, maybe? I don't know. I have no idea. But when you're like, yeah, nobody knows. Nobody knows when you're Kiwi versus Cockney versus Australian. Like, nobody knows the difference. But like, I can always tell. It is. I wish I knew why. I wish I knew it was going on in my head. Like, why can I understand an accent but I can't understand a word? Like, why do, like, it blows my mind. I literally cannot understand, like, a person speaking, but I could tell you where their accent is. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make a damn bit of sense. I pick up on accents instantly, but I can only understand like 70% of what any person is saying to me ever. And 70% is being generous, to be honest. 70% with like no background noise or anything. So, like, how does this happen? I don't know. What's Outer Banks? Like the show where there's a ferry from like Raleigh to Wilmington or whatever? Heard that that's a thing. I'm gonna add my first bit of white real quick. I'm gonna put it in its own layer on top. What's going on? That's not white. That's black. You know what else I'm gonna do? I'm gonna add a I'm gonna actually merge all this down quite quickly. I'm gonna merge these two layers down. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add a clipping mask, and I'm gonna throw some white on top. Just a little bit of white on top. Just for a little bit more dimension. a little bit more dimension in there now. So there's a show, but there's a group of people in the Outer Banks that speak in an almost Irish accent. This is so interesting. I haven't heard of Carolina Brogue, but I believe it 100%. Like, there's the whole, I think they're in Maine, where Maine or Vermont, somewhere up, like, in the northeast, like, New England area, where they even have non-rhotic R's. They even will not pronounce the R's the way we do in the rest of the United States. And it's an American accent, but they have the R's, they sound British. But it is also a dying accent. So I'll have to look up Carolina Brogue to see if that's also dying, which if it is, I'll be very sad. Because I love that shit. Love it. Love it. Right. Back to business. I need edges of... Oh. I closed all my rings, y'all. Yeah, I wish I could remember what they called the Maine Vermont thing. It has a name like, oh god, there is a name for the accent that I'm thinking of, but I can't think of what the name actually is at the moment. Alright. I need edges on this at the bottom. Which means I need to show this quite quickly. Bam. Okay. Where's this white at? If it's not here, where is that? This white space right here. Where is it? It's not here. Where is it? Oh, that is frustrating. I don't know. This piece that's overflowing the space, it is not any particular place. It's not on any layer. What layer is this on? I'm going to erase here and just see what happens, because that's the layer that has the white on it. But where is this? Okay, it's not there. Is it there? It's not there. It's not there. Where is this white space? This is extremely confusing and extremely frustrating. Like, literally... Do you see what I'm saying? This piece right here? Where is that? Where is it? I'm turning these on and off, and they're just the same. This piece never goes away. Where is it? Okay, maybe it's a background piece. Maybe it's a deleted piece. You know what? I could spend all day looking for this situation that isn't working. And what I'm going to do instead is nothing. I'm just going to fucking leave it. What I'm going to do is just shade around it. Just going to shade around it. Because where even the fuck is it? Just gonna shade around it. It's fine. Look at that. Beautiful. Nobody has to know that I am a absolute piece of shit when it comes to art sometimes. Nobody needs to know. Just fix it like this. I'm not angry. I'm just confused. We'll just layer on top. You see this piece? Where's that piece? Where's that ugly piece? Who cares? We'll just we'll add on top. We'll just add on top. It's fine. I mean, that's a bit ugly. That is pretty ugly right there. But it's fine though, because it's fine. Look at that. Beautiful. And nobody has to know that I'm a piece of shit artist. Nobody has to know. I'm normal. All right. Here's my base feather. I think I need to add some dimension here because that looks stupid, right? So, let me just add some shading to that area. And I'm going to erase the outside so that it's a nice crisp line. And I'm noticing like out here that I need to erase more. And like, what's this line? That's like just, that's weird. That's a weird, like, digital, like, do you see it? It looks like it's lying in a puddle. That's kind of strange. So I'm going to go back after I clean this up and erase the outside lines a bit. Just, and like, I feel like when I print this, like, look, even here, there's this whole area here. When I print it, I don't think it's going to be a problem. But Oh, interesting. Okay. I don't think it'll be a problem, but I don't want it to be like obviously yeah. It's the blur. It's the blur effect that did that. So it's not a problem. I just don't particularly like it necessarily. So I'm just gonna erase around the edge there. And I'm going to add some more white just to, you know what, I'm going to add it to a new layer on top. God, I love layers. It's like, I kind of tell myself that it's cheating, but at the same time, it's not cheating, because if you're working with, like acrylics or oils or something, then like these, like you let it dry, you know, and you add a new layer to it and everything works out fine, you know. So I often feel bad about using layers on a digital piece, because it's not, you know, it's not what real artists do. But like, one, I need to get away from, you know, saying what real artists do, when I am a real artist and my medium is digital. And two, real artists do work in layers. Like, they do. They work in layers. It's nuts. All right, I need to find where these little bits are. And I think they're on both of these layers here. Yeah. All right, here's my feather pen. It's really wibbly. In a new layer, of course, because again, I was just saying how much I love layers. I'm gonna do a new layer. The color is purple. So I'm gonna do purple ink. I'm gonna fix this quickly first. Where is this? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Purple ink. Here we go. New layer, and I'm gonna put part of it behind everything. And I'm going to use the soft pastel brush. Layer manager is my friend. Look at these layers. It's fine. I will sometimes put them in groups if I need to, but these are... There's not enough layers here to bother with that necessarily. I can delete some layers though that are no longer useful. Like these bunch of layers. But like right now, I'm at a decent number of layers that are like, it doesn't matter. 30,000 layer limit. How did you didn't discover that? Like you Googled that, right? Like you didn't learn that by trial and error, right? Like somebody told you that there's 30,000 layers. Right, back to work. Exactly how do you discover that? That's that's an insane number of layers to like accidentally create. My baby kitten is over here sneezing. She's got allergies. Poor baby. Okay. Back to the art. This is fine. I'm going to add some dimension to it really quick. And I'm going to do that by doing a clipping mask and just shading a little bit. And I'm also going to be I'm using my technology. I'm not cheating. I'm using my technology. I'm gonna blur that. Yep. Yep. There we go. And I'm gonna add more. I want more dimension, even more. Another clipping mask. And rather than blur, I'm gonna smudge rather than blur this time. Bam. And then I'm also, again, clipping mask. I'm going to add the highlights. And down here, I'm just gonna smooth out where it's like just a mess. I like the idea of adding a table that the ink is spilling off of, but I'll try it and see if I like it. But I feel like drawing a line that represents the table could be like, I don't know, like kind of off. What is this line? What is that? And I don't want to distract from whatever the hell is actually going on in this thing to like have this random line. But I will try it and see if it makes the image clearer. If it makes it make more sense, then I will leave it. But if it just kind of is a line on like to represent a table, then I probably will not keep it. If you don't like it, you can always delete the layer. That's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm going to add the table in on a separate layer. And then, yeah, if I don't like it, I just delete it. One of the many benefits of working digitally. And it's probably one of the reasons why I work mostly digitally nowadays. Because I love having the ability to delete. This looks like too symmetrical, like too fingery on either side. So I'm gonna just I'm gonna change the way the whole pile looks on the other side here. It just looked a little too symmetrical and I wasn't into it. Right? Okay. So here I'm going to draw the table real quick. And I'm just going to do that with a plain black line. We'll see if it's any good. don't think the black line necessarily adds anything or takes away from anything. So I'm gonna go without. I am gonna add some more highlights to the ink. So a couple weeks ago, maybe it was last week, I thought it was really cool to use the like where you could just use your finger to smudge. But I found out that it's not as good as I would like. Like whenever I would touch the screen, it would think I was trying to smudge, and it would smudge things that I didn't want to smudge. So I turned that feature off, which is kind of unfortunate, but, you know, it's fine. It is what it is. I'm going to add some shadows to these drops really quick, and I'm going to use the soft pastel brush. Just some, like, you know, small shadows and then some shading to it. So now what I have to do, I don't know if you can tell when I'm like, if you look to the left of the screen, you'll see the two sliding bars, and then there's that little square with the rounded edges. When it goes blue, I'm touching that with my finger. And when I touch that with my finger and I use my Apple Pencil, then it smudges. And that is what I have switched to as far as making things smudge without having to always like change the brush around. So I'm using that now instead of just smudging with my finger, which I thought was really cool. It didn't work as well as I wanted it to. So here we are doing it the old-fashioned way by pressing a button. I wonder, because usually I do a kind of glowing kind of thing. I don't have any glowing on here yet, per se. How would I add glowing other than like the obvious way? So look at that. So I don't need a table necessarily, but by adding just some dimension to the drippage, it does look more like it's falling over a ledge rather than just like being a splat on a screen. So I'm fairly happy with how that looks. Glow. I do want there to be a glow. The easy thing that I've been doing with a lot of my pieces lately have just had like this kind of like, I'll pick purple and I'll put the soft pastel, and then I'll just do like this really general glow to it. And I don't know if that is the I think if I'm going to have glow on this one here, I think we need to do it this way. I'm going to add another layer here. I'm going to do a clipping mask layer. And I'm going to add purple like this. Good in thought, poor execution. I need what I need to do. What I need to do is copy the canvas. So I'm going to copy the canvas. I'm going to paste the canvas. And then on top of that, I'm going to add a clipping mask that is purple. I'm just gonna like very lightly kind of erase that purple so that it's not so bright. And I'm gonna erase more on the opposite side, like at the top of the feather where there would be no light hitting it, basically. And I'm gonna add my background back in. And I am going to add just a little bit of glow to the background. Not a whole lot. I'm gonna like so. And then I'm gonna pop it down behind. Come on. Go behind. And then I'm gonna erase. Am I in the right layer? Yes, I am. Good. Because I don't want a lot of purple. Well, now there's like no purple, and I'm not into that. I want some, but not a lot. So actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to alter the way I'm doing it. We're going to go this way. We're going to go this way. And we're going to erase the edges, and we're going to erase the middle too. So it's just kind of a vague purpley center piece. Is that, is this too much? Not enough? I'm going to add a little bit of purple to the nib, just so that we can see that it is, in fact, also glowing. Something I've noticed since I upgraded to the iPad Pro 12.9 inch, moving layers you can't do with the pencil anymore. I can't do it with a pencil. I can press on the layer until it like expands like this. Do you see it expanding? Look at it. It's expanded now. No, I've dropped it. I can press on it till it expands, and then only sometimes can I actually move it. Usually I have to use my finger to move layers with this new iPad. All right. Here we go. This, I don't know that it necessarily screams Midsummer. I'm not sure that it doesn't scream Midsummer. But yeah, I'm not sure necessarily what to think of this particular piece. Yeah. But I don't know that that it's I don't know that there's anything else to be done to it. Is this it? Is this Midsummer? This is so different than what I anticipated Midsummer to be. Because when I think of Midsummer, I think of like the fairies and the unrequited love and like the dad saying like, if you don't marry the man I want you to marry, I'm gonna have you killed. There's so many things I think of when I think of Midsummer, and feathers and ink blots aren't really it. But here we are, you know? This is what happened. And I guess that's, you know, part of the experiment is it's like, this is what happened. It's not up to me to determine what you see when you look at my drawings. It's for me to draw them and then for you to determine what it is that you see when you look at my drawings. So I wonder if I should add some white in the middle. I'm going to try it and see what happens. Oh, the white's a good choice. I'm about the white. Okay. About it. Actually, I think that the purple needs more more purplage. I'm going to add a little bit more purple because right now it looks like just a gradient. So I'm going to add some more purple. Hello. Why aren't we working? Oh yeah, we're not working because I copied the whole canvas earlier. That's why we're not working. Yeah, definitely if you expect something, I think it is more interesting to see this rather than like a bunch of fairies. But that's maybe because I've seen Midsummer so many times that like what's expected of Midsummer to me is not as interesting anymore. So I am really happy to have done something that is a little more extra, you know? So that's been fun. And I think a good deal of miscommunication is when you think of Midsummer. Yeah, like straight up, if like 90% of Shakespeare plays though are like, if somebody would have just said from the beginning that like I love this person, or I don't feel like you respect me very much, or here's what I really want in life, or like any number of like actually communicating with somebody, these issues, like a lot of the drama could just not have happened. But you know, it's 400 years old. We've learned a lot since then, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. I think I am mostly happy with the way this has turned out. I think there's like a few little pieces that I would like to address, but like ultimately I think we're in a good place. I am gonna add some white highlights to the feather because as it stands right now, it's kind of flat. So I'm just gonna add some highlights. Look at that. White highlights are already popping. And have we learned anything? That's what I'm saying. I don't think we have. I don't. In the 400 years that Shakespeare's works have been integral to the human population. Air quotes, because colonialism. In those 400 years, no, I think the themes that Shakespeare wrote about are the same. Like, it's literally no different, I think. But I'm not a scholar, so, you know, what do I know? Hello, Alex. You made it at last. Welcome. I'm just about finishing up on the Midsummer Night's Dream Oracle card art. Yeah, that looks, I think, a lot better than without, right? It's like flat, and now there's some dimension. Flat, dimension. I like that better. What if I duplicate it? Is it extra? I like it better duplicated. I like the extra white space there. I want to just smudge this out just a little bit of smudge, because it looks like I haven't done anything to it. You know, it looks like just nothing. It's like an accident at the bottom. So I'm going to smudge the shaft out. Smudge the shaft. Smudge the shaft. And then all these top layers here, I think I would like to smudge those shafts out too. But where are they? Underneath? It says it's on top. But it's not on top. Oh, it's this one. Found it. I'm going to smudge this out a little bit too. And the little white strip. Because I duplicated the layer, so now I have to smudge it on both layers. So it's like just a thing I should have done before I duplicated the layer, but I didn't realize that I wanted to do it before I duplicated the layer. So I duplicated the layer, and now I have to do this thing twice. It's fine. Hello, Vanessa. Hi. I'm glad you made it. I feel like I'm in the wrong layer. God bless America. I was in the wrong layer. Okay. Too many layers. I need some layer management, doll. Help me. All right. And this is a little sharp too. You know, it's a little crispy there. I'm not feeling the crispiness there. Hello, Vanessa. Is this what you wanted? Just going to smudge it out. Just so that it's not like, bam! Like you drew this with a pencil on top. Just smear it. Just smear it a little bit. Just smear it. Just a little. Just smear it. Just smear it. So it still pops, but it's not like, it doesn't have the like texture if I didn't smear it. Okay. It's smeared. What else? Is this it? I feel like there's hello nurse. Oh man, that was a fun cartoon. I'll bite you if you want next time we're in person. But only if you want. Today I learned the parts of a feather. Okay? This is the hollow shaft. Further up, this is the rachis. This shaft is the rachis as well. These lines emanating from the shaft or rachis, those are barbs. The fluffy bits on the bottom, those are after feathers. And it looks like maybe the whole thing itself is called a vein. V-A-N-E. Vein. So that's what I've learned today. Those various... You'll hollow my... Do you promise you'll hollow my shaft? Like, but do you promise, though? Because, like, if you can't promise... This is ugly. I just noticed that this piece is ugly right here. So, I'm gonna just give it a wee erase on all of the layers that have this little section here. And hope I can hope I can get it all. Bam. Got it. All right. I'm not entirely sold also on the ink blot, because what I feel like should happen, I feel like what needs to happen on this ink situation is more of a radial situation, actually. So what I want to do, let's just see what happens, you know? Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. I would like to revisit the ink someday, but this is, I think, better looking than whatever the hell was going on earlier. So I'm gonna stick with what's going on there. I am gonna add Just a little bit more highlight. And just a little bit more, just a little bit more, just a little bit more. Bam. Right, now it's a glowing ink. The whole ink is glowing. I might like to kind of rethink the physics of the piece, but for now I'm quite happy with it. Again, I don't think this is definitely not what I was expecting when I was thinking about Midsummer today. But also, I had no expectations when I was thinking about Midsummer today. I was just like, I know this play front to back. I've been in this play 4 times. I've read this play 17 times. I've done scene studies too many times. Like, this play is almost boring to me. It was my favorite. And I've done it so many times, it's almost boring to me. So I'm really excited to have created this thing, this card that, like, is not what I imagined at all when I think of Midsummer. I'm thinking of fairies. I'm thinking of lovers. If you just look at this card, like, where's the Midsummer Night's Dream in this card? It's not there. And I think that's lovely. I'm pretty excited to, like, have to explain this card to people, honestly, or to see how other people make sense of it without the context that originally I had for it. So, yeah. Really, really exciting moment for the Shakespeare Oracle deck tonight. Thank you for... It's in the shaft. Thanks for hanging out if you hung out. Thanks for visiting if you visited. I am just like... Every week, I'm so happy that anybody at all comes and watches me draw and, like, just talk out of my butthole about stuff that I pretend to know about. I don't know about this stuff. I'm making it up as I go. And I'm always so humbled and honored that people come and hang out and draw with me and talk to me while I draw. It's really, for the last 11 weeks, been just a really nice thing that it's energizing, makes life livable, really. So, thank you. And next week, this has been Midsummer Night's Dream. Next week is Cymbeline. Look at this. Beautiful, beautiful Cymbeline card right here. Look at all that potential. Look at all that potential. You don't probably know about Cymbeline, but it's a really, really fun play. Really, really good story. I love Cymbeline. And that is what we will be looking at next week. But for this week, it is, well, it's time for bed. 10:20. That's bedtime for the likes of me. usually. I love going to bed like 8 o'clock. These Thursday night bedtimes, they're so late. But, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. Thanks for coming. I hope you'll come next week as well. Tell your friends also, if you've got any friends that like Shakespeare or like drawing or like weird people who talk to you with fangs in their mouths, or maybe people who just are bored. You know, share me with your friends. Oh God, just starting to get groove at 8. I wish if I didn't have to be up at like 6:30 every day, I would be also just getting my groove at 8. But corporate world has ruined me. It's fine. If you know, you know. Your friends can be inappropriate sometimes. You know, Vanessa, if your friends weren't inappropriate, I'd feel like they wouldn't be your friends. So. I'm gonna bounce 10:30. I feel like we're in a good place for Midsummer. Again, totally unexpected. I love this. I'm so happy that it turned out to be something that I had no idea what it would end up being. This has been probably one of my favorite ones as far as process goes, about how I came in thinking, oh, fairies, and it ended up being a feather in a puddle. I love it. Anyway, enough fish-mishing from me. I'm going to let you all get to your whatever it is that you're about to do. Please, again, follow me on YouTube definitely just Instagram. I'm now on Instagram at Low Hanging Shakespeare. And I'm on Patreon, Reese_Harp. That's my Patreon. Yeah. Have a good night, everybody. I will see you all next week. Mwah.